Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start this week talking about my Slimming World Week with a couple of things I've just brought back from group. One of them was something Naomi said, which sometimes they just say something so simple and you relate to it. Well, she was talking about the reason why it's good to stay to group, and she said something that had come to her in the car was, we stay at group to celebrate, commiserate, motivate and reflect on what we ate. And I thought that was just, that had come to her in a car as she was driving last Saturday and she forgot to tell us, so I like that. The other bit of group news, and I guess some people will need to commiserate or whatever about this one, but the sticky toffee bars, hi-fi bars, are finished. Apparently limited edition, head office have already run out, or some consultants may be able to get one final order and then they'll be gone. It doesn't mean they won't be back at some point, but they were made as a limited edition thing, and I think head office underestimated how popular they would be. There is to be a new bar coming out soon, but we don't know yet what flavour it is. So that. I'm going to tell you a little story of something that happened to me last Sunday, which was, looking back on it, was quite amusing. We went to town and we were in the clothes shop, Jigsaw, and I was trying on trousers and jeans and different kinds of pants, shall we say. And I put on one pair of jeans, and Joe had gone off to pick up a sweater that he'd seen that he thought I might like, and I came out of the changing room in the jeans and I said to the young lady who was serving me, I think her name was Karen, I said, my problem is here, and I kind of bent down to touch my calves. My calf, in comparison to my thigh, is big, much bigger. So often, when I put on a pair of trousers or a pair of jeans, big here, tight there. And as I came back up from bending over, I said to her, I shouldn't complain, I used to be a size 26. And I think she misheard me because she answered by saying, a size 6? Well, you're only a 10 now, so that's quite respectable. Now, I wasn't going to correct her because my ego's not quite that big. I wasn't going to correct her and say you misheard what I said or anything like that. But what actually did really, really move me was the fact that this girl, who was something probably in her 20s, saw me getting changed and everything, saw me trying on these trousers and whatever, and didn't imagine I was a fat person made thin. She just saw me for the size 10 person that I am. And believe me, when you've been big all of your life, to have somebody relate to you in that way, it's just lovely. It really, I couldn't tell that girl that day, but she blessed my socks off with her comment. It was really nice. And I kind of went round the Nottingham the rest of that morning, like bouncing around. I was so chuffed with myself. Something we did find in there, didn't actually buy them, I might go back and get them though, is a pair of trousers called cigarette style. Never tried that style on before, and I wasn't 100% sure about them because of the length. They're not quite ankle grazers. I think they're probably a fraction longer than an ankle grazer. And Joe actually said, didn't you, that they were a better look on me, because what often happens, because I've only got 27 inside leg, most jeans are 29 or 30, you end up sometimes with them a bit gathered around your ankles, and I don't like to roll up the bottoms of trousers, because she was saying to me, buy chinos, you can roll them up. I kind of feel I'm the wrong age to be rolling up trousers. It doesn't feel right on me. But this style, this cigarette style, I actually, I was a bit like that because of the length. But looking back on it now, I think I might actually go back and get a pair, because you said they looked good, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought they looked good.
I've tried on one pair of jeans that were super, super skinny, and he laughed his socks off. He said, your legs look like...
Pipe cleaners.
Pipe cleaners. How nice. They probably did. Or sticks of licorice. They just didn't look right, did they, Joe? So. You know, when you have an experience and you learn something that you just never knew before, and it's something so simple and you possibly should have known. One of the things we've been looking at this week is pain relief, because at some points Joe needs some pain relief. And people recommend, doctors included, ibuprofen. Now, Joe has a lot of allergies and intolerances. I've talked about them before, and some of them I think I have in a mild form, where he has them in a much more serious form. And we were buying painkillers one day, and Joe said to me, I can't have that one, they've got lactose in. And I looked at him and I went, they've got what in? You know, lactose, what's lactose? Milk sugar. In a painkiller. Whatever next? You know, you get to that stage as a mother where you want to go like, whatever next? But he has to be red hot about these things, and so he does check everything. We had the same problem, didn't we, Joe, with hay fever meds?
Yep.
Because of his nut allergies, he has to carry antihistamines, and a lot of those, again, contain lactose. And if you are seriously lactose intolerant, it can be a problem. I wanted to highlight the thing about the painkillers, because not only for people who are lactose intolerant, and I know a lot of people are, but for vegans, because we've got friends who are vegans. And when I next see our friend who's a vegan, I'm going to ask her, did you know? Because I wonder. And I mean, I think anybody who is actively, seriously vegan possibly would know. But I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have even thought about looking at medication. So if you don't want to be taking anything that comes from an animal, but you're taking ibuprofen because you've got backache or neck ache or leg ache or whatever you take ibuprofen for, if you're vegan, be aware. The one, I think it's Aldi's, isn't it, Joe? Didn't seem to have lactose in it.
No, Aldi's is fine.
Aldi's is fine. When we went to the pharmacy with a prescription, she checked 9, the 9 that she had in stock, and none of them were available to Joe because they all had lactose in. I think the only one she found that didn't was Nurofen. And I'm not advertising. That was just my experience this week. So yeah, interesting if you're a vegan, interesting if you've got a lactose intolerance. Right, here I am on crutches. These are a prop. I just borrowed them from somebody behind the camera. They're not mine. But this week, I've been really aware of the things I use as crutches. And they're not serious, they're not life-threatening, they're not pain-inducing or anything like that, but they do mess with my head. And after talking last week about my weight gain and putting it down to fruit, possibly fruit, I was much more aware of the amount of fruit I was eating this week. And I continued to eat 4, 5, and on one day 6 pieces of fruit. Most of the time it was russet apples. I had a conversation with Rebecca the other day, and it actually came out in the conversation that these russet apples are very much related to a childhood memory of eating them with my granddad, with a certain little knife, and I still have that knife. And that's what I tend to do. And these things, you know, they can get so linked in our heads, or in my head, they get so linked that it's a kind of a way of repeating old habits. But that old habit of eating russet apples, and it's only a very short season, it was becoming a crutch, hence the crutches. And it made me stop and think this week, look at what else in your life you use, Jane, as a crutch. Now, russet apples is not dangerous. Russet apples are not going to put 13 stone back on me. But it wasn't what I was eating, it was how I was eating them. I have a very obsessive, compulsive type nature. I have a very addictive personality, and I've fought against that for years, and I think, by the grace of God and a lot of other things and Joe's support, I think I'm in recovery from most of that. But it just surprised me this week that when I was on the verge of running out of russet apples, and we weren't going anywhere near Morrison's or Marks, which is where I would buy them, I was actually panicking inside. How am I going to manage without them? That's a weird feeling, and it's a daft feeling at this stage in my journey. So I decided to tell myself, and it's handy being blind in some situations, to tell myself that russet apples are no longer in the shops, so you can't buy any more. It's a short season, it will soon be over anyway. So after Wednesday of this week, I had no more russet apples. And I started to sit down and think about what other things I do that with. Now I am aware, and I will be honest about it, that one of the things I do that with most days is coconut latte from Costa. This week I have had 10 large coconut lattes from Costa. Now that's okay because they've all been on plan, they've all been accounted for. So it's not like I've gone over my sins. In fact, I've had 100 of 105 sins this week, so it's not like I've gone over my sins. It's not like I put a load of sugar or anything in them, I just drink them as they come. They're measured. A coconut latte is 7 sins, a large coconut latte is 7 sins. It's 425 mils of drink. 3 shots of that is espresso. So in my thinking, if I want to have a coconut latte for a healthy extra A, that's fine, because the professional Alpro coconut milk that they use is 400 mils for a healthy extra A. So I'm quite comfortable as a Target member having a coconut latte, a large coconut latte as a healthy extra A. You could choose to do that, you could say it wouldn't work for you. We're all different. But a couple of days, 3 days this week, not only have I had the first one as a healthy extra A, but I've also sinned one for 7 sins. I haven't exceeded my sin allowance. I feel really good about it, but I am aware that it is becoming a bit of a crutch. And there may be a time, excuse me, in my life when I can't get to Costa every day. So I've got to stop and think to myself, what are you going to do in that situation, Jane? You know, is that going to make you turn to something else? Are you going to want to replace it with biscuits, cakes, chocolate? No, I'm not, because I don't go down that sweet road anymore. I've kind of like moved on from being addicted to sugars in the way I used to be. And we were talking the other day, weren't we, Joan, saying the longer you're off it, the more comfortable you are being off it. Because I know when I first started, say, going low sugar, I had to consciously think about it. Now I don't consciously think about it because I don't crave, need or desire sugars. That feels really nice. I like that feeling. But again, was I trying to do something about that with the apples? They are sweet. So I think this week has been very much a week of looking at what are crutches for me. Now, looking back over my life, I had major crutches. The biggest of which was being a smoker. I'm just so grateful today that I don't exist on 3 Marlboro and a large black coffee for my breakfast. A bit of junk in between and 3 more Marlboro and another large black coffee for my lunch, because I did that and it didn't work. You know, that isn't a diet I'd recommend to anybody. But something I don't know whether you'll be interested to look at yourselves for your own journey is, are the things that, you know, like me, like the coconut latte, are the things that you are using as crutches? Because in the long run, you know, one day somebody might just take our crutches away, and then it's like being naked, isn't it? You're left defenceless. What do you use if you haven't got your crutches? So, I need to think about the coconut lattes. I'm not going to try to change anything dramatically. I don't need to at the moment. But I need to think about it. One of the other things I use, if use is the right word, is sushi. I don't go a day of the week without having some form of sushi. I just love it. I love the variety of it. I love the fact that I can buy it in different places and it all tastes so different. And I also love the fact that it's low sin and it's healthy. Now, when I first started on sushi, I started on the Aldi one, and I've not had Aldi's sushi for months, have I, Jo? I've not bought it for months. But yesterday we were in Aldi, and I knew we were going to have a really busy weekend, and I needed sushi for yesterday, today and tomorrow. So I bought 6 of the vegetarian sushis from Aldi, and I actually had 2 for my tea last night, and oh my God, did it make me ill. I don't know what was in it that didn't agree with me, but I was waking Jo up after midnight saying, do we have any Rennies in this house? I feel so ill, which is not at all like me, because I don't need things like that usually. I don't have indigestion and heartburn and stuff like that. So yeah, the other 4 packs of sushi, which were for today and tomorrow, have actually gone in the bin, and Jo's been to Sainsbury's and got me some that I know I'm okay with. But again, you know, what would I do if suddenly something happened and I couldn't get sushi every day? Because I'm not as mobile on my own as I am when I've got sighted people around me. And I thought, I need to make provision for this. So one thing I have got in the freezer rather, are some frozen corn lasagnas for a time such as that when I can't get my sushi. Because usually I'd spend about 5 cents on sushi. A frozen corn lasagna is 6.5 cents. That's quite a good swap. But last week we were in Iceland and Joe saw frozen sushi. So yesterday we popped in Iceland to get some Indian side dishes and we picked some up, didn't we, Joe?
Yeah. You want to show it?
Yeah, can you show it, please? Now this is 10 pieces.
Yep.
And I don't know, can you see clearly what's on them? Or is it
3 California pinwheels, 2 salmon nigris, 2 shrimp nigiri. I'll just say nigiri. 1 surimi hosomaki and 2 salmon hosomakis.
Yeah. So 10 pieces for £3 and 3 sins. So I will try that during the week and I'll report back next Saturday on. I mean, me being the queen of sushi, I know everybody's from Waitrose to Tesco's to Marks to Boots to Sainsbury's to Aldi's to everybody's. Yo Sushi, Pret-a-Manger. I've tried all of the different sushis. And my favourites are, well, my absolute favourite is the vegetarian one from Sainsbury's. My second joint favourites are the fish one from Sainsbury's and the fish one from Tesco. Now they would look as if they were the same sins. The vegetarian one from Sainsbury's, which has 7 pieces in, I think 6 or 7 pieces in, is 2.5 sins. The fish one from Sainsbury's, which has 6 pieces in, is 2.5 sins. The Tesco one has been changed, has 6 pieces in, but it's 3.5 sins. So it's always worth checking the app. But if on this one, if once you defrost it, if it tastes good, 10 pieces for 3 sins, I think that would actually be quite an interesting thing to take to your Miss Sleeky and Miss Slinky and Mr. Sleek taster next week. Yeah, it's been a good week and I'll share my results with you now because I've forgotten, haven't I? Went to group this morning, got on the scales, and I could stay for group today, which I'm glad I did because it was a good big active group. And I got on the scales thinking, I feel as good as I felt when I got weighed last week. Let's see what result I get this week. So last week, £1.5 on, this week, £2 off. So I'm back at 8 stone 13.5, which feels fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I didn't do anything different this week to last week. I stayed with the fruit, 4 or 5 pieces most days, except for Thursday and Friday. I just said to Joe, the russets are finished, they've gone. The fruit that we had in the house we had blueberries in, didn't we? But we didn't have any other apples and we didn't have pears in, and we were going shopping and I just decided not to buy any. I'm going to have a couple of days off fruit and just see if any bloating or if I feel any different. Because I only eat 3 times a day, I don't have to worry about snacking on fruit in between. I would have fruit as part of a meal anyway. So I just upped my vegetables for the filling power and the speed. 2 days without fruit and I get a £2 weight loss. I don't know whether the 2 things are related, but I'm just sharing it because that's what I did this week. Right, I'm going to carry on. Fruit will be back in from today, but not big time. I'm going back to my old way of 1 or 2 pieces of fruit a day. Because I was just eating it for the sake of it. Because I was quite emotionally involved in stuff over the last couple of weeks, I think I was using the fruit as a crutch to push the emotions down with. And extending my meals by carrying on eating fruit. And I don't need to do that. I feel on top of the world. I couldn't feel any healthier. I couldn't feel any more energetic and any more grateful to be in the shape I'm in. So I'm just going to go on doing what I'm doing. Lovely lady I sit next to in group had a £5.5 gain last week. She hadn't done anything any different, or she couldn't relate to having done anything any different. And she had handed a food diary in. She carried on this week doing exactly the same as she always does, handed another food diary in and lost £5.5. So we know, don't we, from experience, from watching other people on YouTube and from the people we talk to in group, that if we just keep going, just keep doing what you're doing, it works if you work it. So thank you for being there, thank you for listening, appreciate any comments, and we'll see you next Saturday. Bye for now.